I read an article titled "The Pentagon's Secret Plans to Secure Pakistan's Nuclear Arsenal." Why would the US try to do that if they're the ones who helped them, and can't they do that easily? Okay. Yeah, it's true that the Americans control the West. The West is the source of Pakistan's nuclear program. What was that guy's name? AQ Khan, Abdul Qadir Khan, or whatever his name was. He stole some blueprints from the Netherlands or whatever for making uh, uranium centrifuges and all that, uranium hexafluoride centrifuges and whatever. And then they got some aid from the Chinese as well, some Korean missile designs. And apparently the Chinese tested a couple of Pakistani or a few Pakistani nuclear devices in the Lopnor region and so on. But the West wanted Pakistan to have nuclear weapons because India had tested a nuke in 1974, and then India went to sleep after that. We have demonstrated our technological prowess, and then now we'll go to sleep. It was only when Mr. Vajpayee came to power, and that India did a new series of tests in '98, and then said that we now have a nuclear doctrine and a nuclear program, and it's going to be part of our military considerations. But the Americans always wanted to counterbalance India. And that's why they allowed the Pakistanis to acquire nukes. Now, so you've read this thing. I am not aware of this paper, this article, but I am sure there is concern within various circles in the US about the safety and security of the Pakistani nukes, the nuclear warheads. So the nuclear warheads in Pakistan are under the control of the Pakistani military, obviously, naturally, right? Are they kept disassembled? Are a few of them kept mated to missiles? We don't know. Obviously, they will not publicize such information. But the fear always when it comes to Pakistan is the unpredictability of the Pakistani military establishment. There are lots of radical elements within the military establishment. There may be people who are playing a double game. Maybe people with allegiances to other powers, maybe people with allegiance to Afghanistan, perhaps, and so on. And there are so many terrorist outfits in Pakistan, you can't even count them. You know, every district would have 3 or 4 homegrown terrorist outfits. I'm sure that's the kind of situation Pakistan has. So the fear is some of these nukes, if they go loose and they come and fall into the hands of some terrorist outfit or whatever, then they could unleash mayhem wherever. That's the fear. So that's why the US would want to have a tight leash on the Pakistani nukes. And right now, Pakistan has once again become a US vassal state since 2022, since the ouster of Imran Khan. So the Americans would have a tight hold, or at least some kind of idea of where the nukes are and what is the current the current status of the nukes. And the fear always is that despite their best efforts, what if Pakistan disintegrates for whatever reason? Maybe there's just the people get fed up and there's a revolution on the streets of Pakistan, and let's say the military loses power. I'm sure the military would do terrible things before they lose power, but let's say the military loses power, then what happens to those nuclear weapons? That's always the question. And they will have contingency plans for these eventualities. So these contingency plans will be secure. So this article maybe is referencing some secret plans, but if the plans are secret, top secret or whatever, they will not be made available to whoever writes articles. So maybe it's speculation. But the fear is that these nukes could go loose and they could fall into the hands of non-government actors, like they call them. And then they could be turned against whoever. They don't care if India is nuked, but they would be afraid of other things, like US, it being used against the west of the US. Let's say you have a nuke that goes loose, and then you have refugees flowing in from Afghanistan or Pakistan or wherever into Europe, and maybe somehow they're able to smuggle in a nuke or so, or just some amount of uranium, let's say. And then you can use it in a dirty bomb, which is a horrific thing, so on. So there's the specter of all kinds of disastrous things that could happen. And that's why the Americans are really concerned about the security of Pakistan's nuclear warheads.